Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. It's that part of the week we are all looking for. It's Thursday, it's a new lap time challenge. Let's see what PD's got for us. And the new one is the Nürburgring Nordschleife in the Porsche 911 Carrera from 1995. That will be a special one. Let's go for it, guys. And the time to beat is a 7:44.6. I have no idea if this is fast or not, but let's find out. So let's go for the very first lap. We're in sports hard tires, so not the highest amount of grip, but we'll find out. So lap number 1. And we're pretty much 6 seconds off. Whew. I'll go for some more laps and hopefully come back with a fast one. And after some laps I was actually able to get into the range of the 7:45, but still 1 second off the goal time. So I had to improve even more, which took me some time, but it ended up in a more or less fast lap. And as you know, a lap is pretty long, so let me just comment it without stopping the video. Let me give you some tips and tricks in order to get those corners right. So let's start with the lap and the first left-hander. Go down to second gear, keep it narrow and early back on the power, going down into the Hatzenbach section. After staying on the right in this right-hander, position your car to the very left of the track, and while being in fourth gear, give it a lift to give the car some rotation, and back on the power using all the width of the track. Position your car in fifth gear on the right, hard braking down to third gear, keep it in third gear for this left and right hander. Try to get on the power as early as possible without going to under or oversteer. In Hatzenbach, keep third gear, cut this curb hard, and then slight brake action to get this left hander done. And after a slight power input, back on the brakes for this right hander in third gear still, and then early back on the power, heading towards Flugplatz section. Accelerate all the way through up to fifth gear and then position your car to the very left of the track. And after the uphill section, keep it in fifth gear, give it some slight brake input while steering into the corner and let the car rotate before going back on the power and heading towards Schwedenkreuz section. Until you reach Schwedenkreuz, take this section flat out, go up to sixth gear and accelerate all the way through, taking the shortest line possible. For the left-hand corner of Schwedenkreuz, position your car to the very right of the track, give some slight brake input, keep 6th gear and keep it narrow in this left-hander. And before the curb on the left ends, go hard into the brakes and down to 3rd gear for Arenberg corner. And as you can see, I messed this one a little bit up. And again early back on the power, heading downhill towards the Fuchsröhre section. Through Fuchsröhre, try to take a straight line and afterwards position your car to the right-hand side of the track to be prepared for the upcoming section of Adenauer Forst. So position it to the right, go hard into the brakes, 2 gears down to 4th gear, take it narrow on this left-hander, down to 3rd gear, again take it narrow for this right-hander, and brake down to 2nd gear before turning into this left-hander and right-hander and exit of Adenauer Forst, shift up to 3rd gear and accelerate again. For the upcoming section of Metzgesfeld, accelerate through to the 5th gear, then position your car on the right-hand side and shortly before the left-hander, brake shortly, down to 4th gear for some rotation, let the car roll, short power input before going to the brake again, down to 3rd gear, and keep it narrow in this left-hander so you get it right for this right-hander. Accelerate shortly up to 4th gear, making it to Kallenhardt section, down to 2nd, and you see I messed it up a little bit. Accelerate out of 3rd gear out of this corner, up to 4th gear, slight lift on this left-hander, and for the miss corner, brake shortly, keep it in 4th, try to keep it narrow for this triple right-hander, and then go back to the power using all the width of the track. After some acceleration, brake hard in a straight line down to 3rd, again brake hard in a straight line down to 2nd for this left-hander of Wehrseifen, accelerate in 2nd, before the right-hander shift up to 3rd, and accelerate all the way through to 4th gear for the next part of Breitscheid. For the end of the curb on the right, go hard to the brakes down to 3rd gear, let the car rotate to the corner, go back to the power shortly, before again braking for the X-Mühle part, let the car roll through this corner and try to get as early as possible back to the power for this slight uphill section. For the next part towards Bergwerk, keep it on the right side of the track, go to 5th gear, then to the left-hander, keep it narrow, And when you see the spray marks in blue paint on the tarmac, go hard into the brakes down to 3rd gear, keep it wide for delayed apex and then accelerate early towards the uphill section. And again, I did not get this part perfect, so a good exit out of this corner really gets you some time towards this uphill section, so try to get it right. The following part through Kesselchen area is actually flat out, so you can keep the car in 5th gear, there's no need to upshift to 6th gear. And while going uphill, I'd be happy if you consider to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss future videos. And with that being said, for the next upcoming part of Mutkurve, position the car all the way to the right, and when you enter the area of the curb on the right, give it some slight braking down to 4th gear and try to keep it slightly above 170 kph. Before going to 5th gear and slight lift for this right-hander, back fully on the power, and when the curb on the left starts, hit the brakes hard, go down to 2nd gear for this double right-hander. Actually try to keep it narrow, which I failed to do, and then in 3rd gear go early back on the power to hit the area of carousel. Your brake marker for the carousel is then where the bend is in the curb on the right hand side. Go down to 2nd gear, go late into the carousel, let the car drop, let it roll with some slight power input and then early back on the power on the exit, shifting to 3rd and 4th gear. Keep it on the right side of the track, so you could actually take the left-hander flat out or give it a slight lift, which I did, keeping it in 4th gear. And now at the curb on the right side, brake slightly, go down to 3rd gear to enter the area of Hohe Acht. Keep it narrow on the right-hander, going to the left of the track. Brake hard, keep it in 3rd, before early going back on the power. Accelerate all the way through, shift up to 4th gear, and for the upcoming right-hander, slightly lift, and then brake shortly, going down to 3rd gear for the left and right-hander of Parman. Early back to 4th gear, accelerate shortly on this straight before going back to the brakes, down to 3rd gear, early back on the power, cause you can use the curb on the left-hand side here. Shortly into 4th gear, braking again down to 3rd for more rotation on this double left-hander. Then shortly back to the power, again braking, keeping it in 3rd gear towards the area of Brünnchen. Again short acceleration, keeping it in 3rd, braking again, keeping it narrow on this right-hander, early back on the power. Then position the car to the right side of the track, keeping it in 3rd gear, going to the brakes again, keep it narrow for this left-hander called Eiskurve and early back on the power, cutting the curb on the right and going into 4th gear. Now keep on accelerating through this left-hander, you might slightly lift as I did, shift up to 5th gear before going to Pflanzgarten, brake early and go down to 3rd gear, try to keep it narrow on this double right-hander, shifting up to 4th for this left-hander, which is also like a blind corner. And for the left-hander, shift to 5th gear so you can keep stability while dropping downhill, slightly lift the power to get a better rotation through this right-hander, and then you can keep flat out for Stefan Bellofes. Keep it in 5th gear, and for the right-hander upcoming, brake and go down to 4th gear, try to keep it narrow on this one, which again I failed a little. Then brake again, go down to 3rd, keep it narrow and early back on the power so you can use all the width of the track heading towards Schwalbenschwanz. For this one, try to keep it clean, so brake a little early, keep it in 3rd gear and go early back on the power, avoiding to slide too much. Now position your car to the left for the double right-hander of Galgenkopf, brake shortly, keeping it in 4th gear for some rotation, go to the left side of the track and now try to keep it narrow on the right-hand side, lifting a bit the power and try to get as early as possible back on the accelerator pedal, so you take a lot of momentum down to the Döttinger Höhe straight. And from this sector time of the Audi bridge, it takes you actually about 50 seconds to make it to the finish line. So if you're in the area of 6:53 as I did, you might end up with a time of 7:43, which nowadays should give you the gold medal and the 2 million credits. But down this straight, try to relax a little, try to focus on the upcoming last sector of Hohenrhein chicane, so you get this one right and not mess up your lap in the last 2 or 3 corners. So below the Bilstein bridge in the area of Tiergarten, you're still flat out on this left-hander, and now it gets important. For this left and right corner, slightly lift the pedal, and as soon as you're straight, brake in a straight line, go down to 3rd, shortly release the brake, and in a straight line again, brake hard, go down to 2nd, and in this left-hander, go up to 3rd, shortly hitting the power before braking again, keep it narrow in 2nd gear in the last corner, and early back on the power, accelerate all the way through to the finish line in 3rd, and hopefully get the gold medal and the 2 million credits. So guys, that was indeed a tough one, and to be bloody honest, my lap is still far from perfect, but I hope it at least gives you an indication on how to do the lap, get the 2 million credits and of course the gold medal in this challenge. So let me know in the comments if it helped you out, and if it did so, feel free to leave a like to the video and consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss next week's video. And then I say thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.